Welcome back guys, this is Falgun again. In this video we are going to discuss a very important topic, and the topic is double fertilization and triple fusion. Triple fusion. Okay, so without wasting time, let us get into the topic and let us discuss this topic very deeply. I guarantee you guys that on completing this video you will be cleared with this topic. That's for sure. So let's get into it. Before fertilization, what generally occurs is the process called pollination. So what happens in the pollination that we had discussed in previous videos. I insist you guys to check out my previous video so that you can able to catch what I'm going to say in this video. Okay, so in previous videos we had discussed about the pollination process. Okay, after pollination, what happens? This pollen grain gets settled on the surface of a stigma. Once the stigma receives the pollen tube, now this pollen tube gets into the ovary through style. Once it gets into the ovary region, it gets into the ovule, then into the embryo sac. So how this embryo sac actually look like, that is what we are going to discuss in next slide. So this is how actual diagram of crystal looks like. So this portion what you're looking into, okay, this portion is embryo sac. From here we can able to observe that embryo sac, okay, here you can observe that it consists of 7 cells. And what are those? This end of the embryo sac is considered as the micropylar end. Opposite to the micropylar end, this is called chalaza end. Okay, so at the micropylar end there is presence of two synergids. Okay, in between synergids you can able to observe here there is presence of egg. So one egg cell is present in between the synergids. At the chalaza end you can observe 3 cells are present, and those 3 cells are called as an antipodal cells. Antipodal cells. In central region you can able to observe that 2 nuclei are present, which is enclosed in a single cell. This cell is called as an central cell. Central cell. Central cell consists of 2 nuclei, and these 2 nuclei are not fused. So I hope now you have understood the typical diagram of this embryo sac. Now after pollination, after this pollen tube gets into the embryo sac through this region, and this region is called micropylar region. Through micropylar region the pollen tube gets into the embryo sac, and these two synergids has the special apparatus which is called as an filiform apparatus. This filiform apparatus, what it does is it basically guides the pollen tube into the embryo sac. As a result, this pollen tube gets into the embryo sac with the help of filiform apparatus. This filiform apparatus is present in both the synergids. So once it reaches the embryo sac, as we know, pollen tube carries 2 male gametes. Okay, so now these 2 male gametes gets into the embryo sac, or pollen tube basically releases those 2 male gametes into the embryo sac. One of the male gamete fuses with central cell, and other male gamete fuses with egg, which is present in between the synergid cells. Basically what happens, let us just discuss in detail. Okay, so there is presence of 2 sperms. Yes, so one of the sperm gets fused, or one of the male gamete, you can say that, gets fused with egg cell. Okay, as a result it forms zygote. another male gamete, that is again sperm, which fuses with central cell. Central cell. Okay. And what is the main point to be noted here is central cell has two nuclei, and these two nuclei are called as an polar nuclei. Polar nuclei, right? So this male gamete, second male gamete, this second male gamete fuses with these two polar nuclei. As a result, it forms a cell with nucleus. Okay, and this nucleus has the chromosomal state of 3n, or the nucleus is triploid in state. So guys, now let me just say you why this process is called as a double fertilization triple fusion. Main reason is one of the gamete fuses with the egg. As a result, it forms zygote, and this process is called syngamy. Syngamy. The second sperm fuses with the polar nuclei of the central cell, which forms triploid nucleus. Here what happens? Triple nuclei fuses to form a single nucleus with a triploid chromosomal state. So that's why it is called as a triple fusion. As fertilization occurs twice, so that is the reason why it is called as double fertilization. So finally, after double fertilization and triple fusion, what happens? Zygote and PEC. What is it? Primary endosperm cell, that is nothing but the triploid cell. Okay, triploid cell, other name of the triploid cell is nothing but the primary endosperm cell. After fertilization, what happens? Zygote and PEC survives, and rest of the cell degenerates. As a result, zygote develops into embryo, PEC develops into endosperm. Okay, the main role of endosperm is to provide the nutrition to the developing embryo. So that is what the next step would be. So that is all for today. So I hope you have understood the very important process, that is double fertilization and triple fusion. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in comment section down below. I will definitely solve your doubts. So thank you for joining in. This is Falgun signing out.